everyone, welcome to episode 22 of the Everday Bow Hunter podcast. You have Dan Zemer to my right. I am Mike Manley once again. And this week we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Really got out in the woods last week. We had talked a lot in the last podcast episode about putting together video for a lot of the different food sources for the fall that you can, when you're out there scouting in the summer, you can look at. And we actually went out and shot a bunch of video. We didn't do a great job shooting that video, so we have to go shoot more video. But it was mainly audio issues, and we kind of skipped over a bunch of stuff because we were just kind of haphazardly, oh, look, here's some great browse.
Yeah. Sometimes trying to go off the cuff without like a format, you know what I mean? Without an agenda.
Yeah, and I talked to Trevor and said, you know what, we need to sit down here in front of the camera, go through the food sources, talk it out, and then show the stuff that we shot on camera. And that would be better. Right. That would be a lot better. And we did. We actually, one of the things that I can tell you right now here in Pennsylvania, and don't know, from other parts, even the state, but where we were at in the north central mountains of Pennsylvania, we found a lot of chestnut oaks with acorns on them. Did not see white oaks with acorns. Just putting the binos up, looking up the trees. That doesn't mean that they're not there. Just did not see them. This heat, you don't know. It's freaking, this heat is terrible. I don't care where you are in the country. This heat is brutal. Yeah.
So for those who aren't here in Pennsylvania, those who are know what we're talking about. It's like 97 degrees with a heat index of 103, 104 right now. And it's been days of it.
I'm sure if you're out west, you're laughing at that.
So here, cheers to beating the heat.
Yes.
It sucks right now.
But anyway, back to what I was at. We went out. We did a bunch of scouting. I actually found more spots. I actually think I found one of Ronnie's cameras. So Ronnie, if you're listening to this, I think I happened upon one of your cameras. I took my hat off and give you a good shot of me. So hopefully it's yours.
Otherwise somebody really knows what you look like.
Yes. But I don't mess with people's cameras. So anyway, we went out and saw, so we were on e-bikes once again, and we went through, found a bunch of these food sources, found some good browse areas. And then we also happened upon, like I said, what's happening with the storms that we had recently. There's little bunches of, branches that have fallen off the chestnut oaks. And you can see the young acorn growth on there. Okay. So there's a ton of that out there. So that is a good sign, at least for the fall. Hopefully this heat does not hinder that crop and still continues to bear fruit, and we can, enjoy hunting over that. One of the spots, in fact, that we had gone into had a ton of sugar maple browse and border privet that
still don't know what it is.
But I'll show you that. A bunch of
I should have Googled it, but
young border privet and it was browsed on. And so it was very neat to see the stuff that Trevor had talked about in the last podcast actually there. A bunch of deer tongue. We'd actually happened upon a plant that initially he thought was bear corn. If you ever seen these plants that have, it looks like corn at the top of the plant. Yeah. Well, we thought it was bear corn, and it's not. And so we found that deer actually will eat it as a secondary food source. Okay. It's something else. I forget. Starts with an M. I have to ask Trevor what it is again, but it's not bear corn. Interesting to see. But we saw a bunch of bear sign. We're actually traveling back the one trail on our e-bikes, and we had a 350 to 400 pound bear running on the trail in front of us, ahead of us. Yeah, must have spooked him out.
That's cool.
And then he busted left up in the woods. And I was like, Tanya had got me that camera to mount on my bike.
And you didn't put it on?
It was in my backpack.
Of course.
Of course. So then when I did put it on, didn't say anything. But we went out to another spot with our e-bikes the next day, and really put on saw some territory I had never seen, which I'll have to talk to you about later. But on our way back from that trek, don't I see in front of me on the trail, huge snake.
Yeah, you sent pictures of that.
I dodge it and I yell, snake!
Rattlesnake.
Yep, a timber rattler. Yep. And he was massive. I couldn't have gotten my hand around him.
I was going to say, it looked like about that.
He was bigger than that.
Yeah.
It's the pictures and video don't do him justice.
So by the way, I was going like that. Oh, that came out weird. Never mind.
But yeah, this thing was massive. Got off the bike, went back and checked him out, and he was huge.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And
yeah, those timber rattlers get big up there.
Yeah, he is. That was impressive to see. You don't see that every day. And then we also happened upon a bunch of raccoon pups.
Yeah.
Yep, 3 young ones along the side of the road. So it was neat to see.
So to the start of that, I got to go up, and in the last episode I said I wanted to change where the location of my cell cam because I wasn't seeing anything, and he can vouch for it. The signage was there. I think they might have been going behind the camera.
Yeah, there was a good trail behind the camera.
So there's that. But we did move the camera, so we went up, retrieved it, brought it back down, and went up on the other side of the mountain. And within less than 24 hours, already had quite a few deer pictures, saw so far 2 really, really, really nice sized doe and a young buck that's in velvet. And it looks like, you know, like you said, right now is their prime growing time.
July is a month when deer really grow out. So if you see a deer in June that is really fleshed out, is really wide and great and big and velvet, he's going to be really impressive by the time August hits.
Yeah, and you could tell it if there's brow tines, which I didn't see in the pictures.
Yeah.
Even the one that was a little blurry, I should have requested the high definition version of it, but I didn't because I didn't want to use up because that counts as 5 towards my. And I was getting so many pictures, but now it's been a week of nothing, and you're going through it too, and maybe this 103-degree heat index might have something to do with it. I said earlier they're probably all laying in the creeks like they're at the beach chilling out, getting cool. But I mean, I don't know.
But you know what? It might be, the brows might be affected by the heat.
Yeah.
Not, keeping it down because they want. The one thing that we definitely talked about when we were out there looking at the stuff, scouting around, is deer want that fresh green stuff, the fresh tops.
Yeah.
Very rarely are they going down and really getting into they're not eating leaves and stuff. Usually it's that really fresh growth they're going after.
And with the lack of rain and how dry it is, there's not a whole lot new. I think it's been over 2 weeks since I've mowed my grass. That's how dry it's been.
My grass is definitely
it's ridiculous. And I said to him today, I said, hey man, this ain't even the middle of July. It's not even August, and August is our dog days of summer.
Yeah.
It's already bad. Like it's been dry and very hot.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't get worse, but
I think it affects me. With my job, I'm out in it a lot. And then come the weekend when I could be scouting.
Yeah.
I really don't want to be out in the heat.
He wants to be out in the heat. Well, we were lucky with the weather we had last weekend.
Yeah.
We were very lucky. The weather on Monday when we were out was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. The humidity was low. Great. In fact, Tuesday as well, too, as I was out scouting, did a little stuff on Tuesday as well.
So speaking of warmer weather, that kind of brings us to early season, and kind of want to talk about what all you guys and what we're wearing in the early seasons. For me, I want to wear I'd go out there naked if it was legal, but I'm wearing some really light stuff. When I first started archery hunting, I got into Scent Lock because back then Scent Lock was a real big name, and they have their Savannah line, and I have 2 different sets of that, and it is real great early season stuff. Very light, nice, easy. You don't get all sweated up in it, and it's good stuff. And then I'm wearing paper thin base layer, just enough to, really kind of help out with the scent, deterrent stuff. So, and at that point, I had just got that. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of the Phase. So I got the whole allotment of Phase. So it's laundry detergent.
Sitting over there.
Oh, you did buy it?
Because of you, I bought it.
All right, great. Good, man. Awesome.
Well, we saw this thing on the Outdoor Channel.
Yes. So up at camp, we only get so many channels.
We got enamored with this segment that they did, and it was very impressive to watch. Now, whether or not it works, we have to find out.
Hey, Amazon has amazing reviews on it, so we're going to try it out. But what it is,
it's a phase system. It's called.
Yeah, it's phases. So you got like a laundry detergent. You have a spray for your clothes. You have a foam. So what I like about this, so what the concept is you're putting this on and it puts a layer on you and it's sealing in your scent.
Keeping it from coming out of your pores.
Keeping it from coming out of your pores. So what I like is like the foam, you'd put it on in your hand, kind of like a hair mousse.
Yeah.
But with us with facial hair and stuff like that, but you put it all through this is once you're out there, you get to your spot.
You sweat it up early season. You need to put your scent down and you put this foam stuff on. But they also have a lotion that you put on that holds your scent back.
Right. The lotion, but you put that on before you go out.
Yeah.
So there's different things, early season. I don't get real wound up in the early season because I'm not a big fan of the heat. And with the heat comes the insects. And, we're big with the permethrin.
Yes.
And we treat all of our clothes because, ticks are really bad. And he dealt with the Lyme disease thing, and we don't want to have to go through that again.
Two years, two different series of antibiotics from some tick bites and stuff. So I don't play the game anymore.
Yeah, or rightfully so.
I like to find hunting clothes for the early season that have that insect protection built in.
Right.
Right. Insect Shield's one. There's a couple others out there that they put it through the fabric before they even really make the hunting clothing. They treat it. They do this deep treatment of
Is it permethrin in the
permethrin?
Okay,
It's embedded
it's woven into the
fabric, and it's supposed to be able to last up to 70 washes.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And which is a long time, or the life of the garment. So that is incredible. So I actually had some other hunting clothes, early season hunting clothes that I have.
Right.
I sent it off to Insect Shield, and it's a service. Not that I'm not promoting them, but anyway, they did my clothes. Now, the one thing is be careful because it will, the treatment after the fact will shrink your stuff up a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's good to know.
Whereas going back to the permethrin and insect stuff, early season, regardless if a garment or hunting clothes comes with it pre-treated, I treat my stuff with permethrin.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Now, I think they're saying that one spray, one treatment will last up to 6 washes. That's with
like 7 weeks or something
like that. Yeah, with the spray bottle. That's
when you're doing it yourself, and of course you put it on liberally, you put it on really good, and let it dry out and stuff, and then you're good for it. I don't play around with it. Dan knows we take it really seriously.
You have to.
Now, for early season, I've been fortunate because of this channel and stuff. I do a lot of testing. Companies reach out to me and say, hey, we test stuff. Sometimes I reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to test this. And they send me stuff for free. I test it out. Now, the one thing I try to do is be as honest as I can about it, right? Now,
you kind of owe it to them.
I owe it to them. I'm not going to, over promote something, but I am going to give it an honest review at the same time. I've actually had 2 different companies that I have not liked their stuff, and I just have not. Probably, you're wondering which ones they are. Well, it's because I haven't done the videos at all. So because I am,
we're not going to sit here and bash them.
I'm showing them respect for the fact that they sent me the stuff for free. So I'm just not doing a review. Whereas, anyway, some of the stuff that I like to see in early season hunting clothes, I like the hoodies that have the built-in masks.
Absolutely.
And the mesh masks that are very light. You have 2 different things you can use for this. You have, there's 2 different ways that companies are looking at this. And sometimes they do a combination. Either have a synthetic, right, which is like nylon and spandex and different elastane or something like that. And it's thin and it really wicks the sweat away from you. It's thin and it keeps you cool and stuff. But it's very hard to treat that stuff with any kind of scent control product. You're not really normally getting any kind of scent control out of that stuff. Although Forlo has the Polygiene stuff in their early season stuff, but I sweated.
Some of them have like silver or whatever that is.
The antimicrobial stuff and everything.
Antimicrobial.
But if you have, on the flip side, if you have the merino wool based stuff that's really thin, that can actually, believe it or not, people say merino wool in the summer. Yes, merino wool in the summer. Merino adapts.
You can get the 150.
The 150 or even less. There's some, the one Sitka shirt over here I have is a 120.
There's a lot of positives with merino wool. Because the one negative
anti-odor
is it's not going to last as long. It's a very delicate fabric, and it won't last. There's no longevity to it.
Yes, you have to. And when you wash it in cold water and you hang it out to dry. You do not beat it up in the dryer. Right. Even if they say, oh, yeah, you can use it in the dryer.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Hang it up.
Why? Make it last longer. I mean, the stuff costs enough. Make it last longer.
Yeah. I've done a bunch of reviews on stuff. There is a lot of great stuff out there. It's very, very few times I find something that I just say, this is horrible. But There's the Equinox Guard from stuff from Sika has the insect shield built into it. The Forlo stuff, their lightweight Solaire stuff has insect shield built into it. The new First Light Yuma series has insect. It's not insect shield, but it's another company. But they have insect protection built into it. So that's not a must. It's just about what's comfortable, what you're looking for. If you are like in the South, I'd totally go synthetic because of how brutal the heat is.
Yeah.
You know, and how long that lasts.
Yeah.
You know, if you're more northern, the great thing about the merino base layers is they're good enough to be in that 70-degree heat.
Yeah.
Right. That you get in the early season, 75, whatever, even up to 80. But then you can use them as a base layer continually into the season.
Yeah.
And on, you know, into that mid season really, and use it as a wicking layer underneath. And that merino really helps regulate your core body temperature and allow you to stay cool and still be used, as opposed to something you buy and it lasts for 2 weeks in the first and the early season, and now it's something you can only wear for 2 weeks. Whereas that merino stuff you can use all season long, and you don't have to buy something else.
So I feel like buying clothing that has the insect shield in it is a better option than Thermacell, which puts off an odor.
Yeah.
For one, for two, they're finicky. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I shouldn't bash Thermacell.
You never know how the deer are going to react to it.
But yes, there's that. So I think, you know, we're not only concerned about ticks. Okay, we have, you know, a litany of, you know, you have the flies, but no-see-ums. I call them dog pecker fleas. Because you always see them on, anyway, so.
That's hilarious.
You know, they're just in you, at you, the mosquitoes, you know, it's everything that, when it's warm, it's the worst, and it's calm. You know, when it's hot out and you're hunting, all I'm hoping for is a breeze because it keeps the bugs off of you. But that breeze, now you're fighting scent and odor. And, you know, so using articles of clothing that have that insect shield in it is pretty valuable stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know where you're at in the country right now, especially in the eastern part of the country where you're not dealing with bugs like that.
Yeah, it's,
you know, it's something that everybody has to deal with in the early season. In fact, I know anybody that's hunting like Kentucky, you know, and Tennessee and stuff like that, when in the early season, when they're able to hunt with the deer still in velvet, even in Maryland, the bugs have to be brutal in different ways.
Hey, like last year when we were up in Michigan for the dog show, and I said I saw that big giant racker out in the field in velvet. The bugs, it was a cloud of bugs. Okay, so you've all probably seen Peanuts, Charlie Brown. Okay, so there was a character in Charlie Brown, and his name was Pigpen, and everywhere he went, there was like a cloud of bugs around him. That's what this looked like. It was like a halo round bulb of insects around this buck's antlers. So it could have been at a point where they're at max growth, the velvet, and they stink. And them bugs were at it. I said to my wife, we pulled over alongside the road, and I didn't even think to grab a camera because I was going, look at the bugs. And my wife was like, holy crap, Dan, I've never seen anything like it. It was pretty cool. So, bugs. So Michigan's, well, they're getting closer to Canada too. And Canada's notorious for mosquitoes and bugs. So,
yeah. So early season wise, and the pants then, right? So we talked about the tops. One thing about pants is anytime you go with a thinner pant, to be lightweight in the early season, you're sacrificing a lot of times durability. So what companies will do is they will focus more on, say, a certain lightweight pant that's meant for the early season, and they'll focus on durability. But
in certain areas of the pant,
well,
like
even
knees, butt,
even even the whole pant, like Osio's lightweight pants are just very durable and tough, whereas they're real durable, but they're not as quiet because of that durability. Right, but they're not terrible as far as quietness, but they're more durable. And then you switch over to, like, I'm getting an example here off the top of my head. First Light's trace pant that I just tested is the quietest pant that I've ever tested.
Really?
Yeah, I've tested a lot.
Yes.
And they are very, very quiet. In fact, they have what I call soft snaps on them.
Okay.
The zipper's extremely quiet, but the snaps for the cargo pockets are these. You put them together and they go together softly.
But it's a magnet?
No. It's not a magnet.
Okay.
It's now they're the whitetail catalyst bibs. It's all magnets in there.
Right.
So that's very, all their stuff that I've tested for First Light, honestly, has been super quiet.
Great, yeah.
So there's other things that maybe I don't necessarily like about certain features that they have. The trace pants themselves, like I went out and tested them in turkey season, and I had jaggers going through into them, and the ripstop technology they have in there, they call it kinetic grid or something like that. It held up. It didn't like rip out. It's a ripstop.
And like give you the little.
If you have the little grid stuff in
yes,
fabric,
yeah.
like in the military, we called it ripstop. But so it actually worked, but like they had durable water resistant protection in there. But like I said, when you talk about early season thin pants, water resistance is going to be minimal, because I went through a bunch of high grass brush and stuff with them, and they got soaked regardless. So
what's the name of the early season Huntworth? So
the Huntworth pant.
Yeah.
The Huntworth
early season stuff.
Huntworth's early season pants are the Durham. Each one of their clothing item has like
a name. Saskatoon.
Yeah, Saskatoon for their cold weather stuff, which I think is the best cold weather stuff as far as value. As far as your money, what you're getting for your money.
So what you guys don't know is he turned me on to this Huntworth, and I have my fair share of Sitka stuff. But I started buying this Huntworth, and I'm seeing a trend where it's like the same quality. All right, and I'll preface this by saying,
I'd say features.
Nothing fits like Sitka.
Yeah.
It just is different. It fits different. It's like it holds you. It's like a baby swaddle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now
they have a lot of attention to detail in it.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's very well thought out.
Yeah.
Now this Huntworth, it's material wise on par.
The features of it sometimes are even better than Sitka.
I have to agree. Like the hand pockets up here.
Yeah.
Because when you're sitting down, it's hard to get in them pockets, and you're fighting it, and then you're making
that Saskatoon stuff is great.
It's amazing stuff. So
their Shelton hoodie for mid-season is awesome, and now they have that other hoodie that has the heat boost stuff in it. The Grayling. The Grayling.
Yeah.
I mean
well, I just got the
really
Shelton hoodie,
yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped about that to go along with the vest that you gave me.
The Elkins vest.
The Elkins vest.
And the Elkins for Huntworth, just to throw something at you here real quick, Dan. I was testing the Elkins vest, and I had the Sitka Stratus jacket laying next to it. Remember?
Yes.
And it's
identical, like material thing.
It's the same thing.
Now they have a disruption. Is it called
disruption camo
pattern that is ideal, absolutely perfect for fall.
Yes.
In Pennsylvania, I'm blown away by it. He took a picture of himself and sent it to me, where it's like a side shot showing his chest.
It was
up
actually
against,
the Shelton hoodie,
and it was like you couldn't tell where he started and where the woods began. Like it was pretty cool.
Yeah. That camo is.
I've become quietly, or maybe not so quietly, obsessed with Huntworth because of the price point.
Yes.
Not everybody has hundreds. Okay, so like Sitka bibs, what are they, like almost $400?
Crazy. For the Stratus you're talking about.
Yeah, Stratus bibs. So I bought them. I spent the money, but I'll tell you what, probably the best article of clothing I have, my most favorite article of clothing I have. But I bought the Saskatoon top with heat boost. I bought the Saskatoon bottom pants with it. And I don't even think I spent $300.
No.
And
you spent as much as one, like the Stratus jacket, or maybe the Stratus bibs, one or the other, was the same as you buying the pants and the jacket
together.
Huntworth. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And and sometimes like I said the other day to you and Musser, which you've seen on the podcast, there's other things in life I want, and there's other things in life I want to do, and I need money to do. I can't always just blow $400 on a coat from Sitka. I'd love to, but I think they're kind of outpricing certain hunters in a certain demographic, and that upsets me. Yeah. It's like, because I want to be able to wear their stuff, but I can't afford to.
And I'll be honest,
and that's okay.
I mean, if I wasn't getting a lot of this stuff for free, I sure as hell wouldn't spend that money.
Right, and I if anybody deserves the free stuff is you. What you've done for this country, what you've done for your family. The work that you put in testing them and doing the videos and the write-ups and you deserve it, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you do. You put a lot of work and effort into this, but back on to the, the price point of certain things, I'm always looking for the budget stuff, because again, we bought a camper. We did, there's things that I'd rather spend my money on than $400 hunting coats,
Yeah. But the one thing, like we're talking about the Huntworth stuff, the number one, like if you look at the Sitka Stratus jacket, we'll just use that. That's a great mid-season jacket. It's got the same features as the Huntworth Elkins jacket. And what that is it's 100% windproof.
Yep.
Right. So if you're out there hunting, you want to be able to knock down the wind.
Yes.
2, both of them are pretty quiet.
Yes.
Right. And actually the Elkins is quieter than the Stratus.
Yeah.
After I did my testing, it's quieter than the Stratus as far as putting your hands on it. I can't believe how quiet that is. In fact, I don't know if I showed you that. I might show you that after this podcast.
You did the rub tests on?
Test.
I actually watched that video of it. I have the Equinox hoodie, not the guard hoodie, but I have the Equinox hoodie, which is more like a coat.
They don't make that anymore. Yeah.
Right.
For Sitka.
That is Sitka. That is an incredible article of clothing. It's a shame that they stopped making it. But now I also have the Traverse hoodie. And I don't know if I've talked about this one here, which I was really disappointed, is I have the Traverse pants. And they are super light, like Spring Gobbler, super light. Love them. One of my favorite pair of pants that I've ever owned.
But they don't match up with the jacket.
So I thought to myself, I'm going to get the Traverse hoodie to go with it. Boy, was I disappointed. That thing's a winter coat. Why would they put the same name
and not match it up?
Not match up.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense to me. I was like, yeah, it's on me because I should have did my homework and read the fine print. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I was doing a likeness match. Okay, Traverse, right? I mean, it's common sense that they would be.
That's the one struggle. And one of the reasons why I really put a lot of effort into the reviews is the struggle is a lot of this stuff is online.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have a store near you that
to go find to try it out, get your hands on it. Yeah, right.
And so it's hard to do that. And when you can go through it,
I rely on you. I come to you to your store over here.
And what you can't see, and obviously this is a video
shelf
podcast,
full of clothes, but
if you're just listening to this, I have 2 different shelves over here loaded with all the clothing that I've been testing. But yeah, I don't care what brand you go with. Go for whatever you can afford and enjoy without breaking the bank. And if you can afford it, buy it. If not, Huntworth is a great option. Ozio is a great option. But anyway, what you look for, especially, in the mid-season, we talked about early season, mid-season, like I said, if you can find something that's highly wind resistant or windproof, has good durable water resistant protection on it, that can handle light rain,
Well, mid-season's when your fall rain systems are coming through.
Can handle that, and you're not having to, pull out your rain gear.
Right.
And then also be durable and quiet.
Yeah.
And of course comfortable. But we want it as bow hunters, we want it to be quiet.
Yeah.
Key thing is you can't be rustling around in the tree.
Oh yeah.
You need it to be quiet.
Like my Stratus bibs are virtually silent. Again, my favorite article of clothing. I freaking love those things. But at any rate.
So the soft shell stuff that I just tested, both Duck Camp and the First Light soft shell stuff, Whitetail Catalyst and Duck Camp's contact soft shell stuff, and even Sitka's Jetstream jacket, they're all considered soft shells.
Yeah.
And they are all very quiet. But I have to give the ultimate quiet
to First Light.
Just
Really?
because they have really, I'm telling you, the attention to detail, and not to give any props here to First Light or whatever, but the attention to detail as far as being quiet, the biggest thing I don't like about the Whitetail Catalyst stuff is it's bibs only. They don't have any pants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude.
But I the more I get into this, bibs are awesome.
They do, but earlier in the season, there's that. Earlier in the season, when it's a little warmer, maybe you just want. Although you can vent out them because they have the zippers that go down.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just want a pant. I would like the Stratus. They have the Stratus pants and they have the Stratus bibs.
Yes.
Whereas First Light had done that'd have been great. But anyway, I digress. But the soft shell stuff is literally, if you haven't. if you don't know anything about a soft shell, it's inherently durable. The material's soft and the water runs off it really good. It
beads off. Yeah.
Beads off of it really good. And the quietness.
And for it to have that kind of water deflection and be that quiet is really doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
So real quick, did you, I brought this up in text earlier.
Yeah.
In your backpacks, do you have bladder systems? Do you have Camelback systems in them, or are you going with the bottle of water?
No, I do Camelback.
You do. So I'm lazy, inherently lazy, and I don't feel like doing all the cleaning of it. So I just have a bottle of water.
I have thrown out the bladders like crazy.
Yeah, that's like that. For me, I'd have to have disposables.
So I will tell you this. Last year I had a little cooler in the back of my car, and when I got to the car, I do this stupid thing that you shouldn't do. Is I try to keep myself from having to piss when I'm in the tree, so I don't drink a lot, even though I should.
Because you're sitting there just dehydrating yourself.
Yeah, which is terrible. Don't do that. But I use a lot of the, it's called Element. It's like your, what's the other one? The Liquid IV.
Yeah.
I use those supplements in my water to kind of, take care of the lost electrolytes from all the sweat and stuff.
Liquid IV gave me kidney stones.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Because the powder doesn't break down. And my body does not do good with powders.
The Element, it's called LMNT.
Yeah.
It really breaks down good. I really like it.
Okay.
But anyway, I have a huge water bottle thing that supposed to keep your water cold for hours or whatever.
Right.
How it's going to hold up in the heat in the fall here, we'll see. But I have that in the vehicle, so when I get back there outside of the water bladder, which is kind of small, it's only like a 75 milliliter or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot, because I don't also want to be careful about the weight. Walking in. So I have that in the backpack.
Is there any of this?
Any beer? No, there's no beer in there.
No.
Although we do have beer in the cooler at the vehicle sometimes.
That's after, like, it's a victory beer.
Yeah.
Like if you get a deer and you drag a deer out of one of our mountains, there's got to be more than just I killed a deer reward. I got a beer reward.
I will tell you. So I'm out in an area that we call the Promised Land, and there's a state gate there that keeps you from driving out in this area. And I was out archery hunting, and I had walked this long distance to get to my spot, over an hour. And anyway, when I got back, my truck at the time, I had my Toyota Tacoma at the time, I popped the tailgate, I sat down, and the moon was beautiful. The temperature was fantastic. It was cool. Probably that 50, 55 degree range. Sat on my tailgate with the moonshine at my truck, and I drank a beer, and I just chilled.
Yeah, there's nothing better. I mean, you don't have the infiltration of city lights. You're seeing every star. There's nothing better than that. That's magic right there.
Yeah, and that was actually the time that I got in the truck then, and I was driving back. I just got down. I'm doing this curve there on the mountain road, and there's a 10-point buck standing in the freaking middle of the road in front of me. He was incredible. I was like, "You son of a bitch!"
That happens a lot up there.
Yeah,
and it's like, where were you all evening?
Yeah,
So
I told you I got that. Because we went in and took your, I almost forgot about this, your Moultrie Mobile.
Yes. Pro.
Edge Pro you have.
Yep.
You took
Edge
it down.
Pro.
I had gotten, Moultrie Mobile sent me 2 Edge, not Edge Pros.
Okay.
But they also sent me their 12 volt solar panel battery pack things, which are incredible. I mean, these things are awesome. And they're really built for the outdoors. But anyway, they
felt heavy duty.
They're very heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and mounted them out in the woods.
Yeah.
And like you, I get the daily update.
Are they reporting good and everything?
They're the one up at an area I call Nipple.
Yeah.
Is not for a bad reason. It's actually an actual person's last name. But that area, it's reporting intermittently. But I had a young buck on there that I had called medium last year, and he's looking like he might be named large this year.
I said that the last episode.
Yes.
The old small and medium are now medium and large.
Yes. He is looking really good in front of the camera. And I had some some doe on there, and my other camera, I had moved it to get to where there's some sunlight because of the solar panels,
Right.
and so far had one doe on there and nothing else. But it's only it's only a couple days.
It's better than no doe.
Yes.
I'm excited about the size of the doe that I have on camera, because come rut, they're breeders. You know, they're gonna have a lot of babies.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be exciting. Even if not, I'm just going to take one of them, and hopefully, if they're still there, obviously, and hunting pressure doesn't push them out of the area. But I would be very happy to bring one of those doe home to feed my family with.
Oh yeah.
My wife would love me for that.
I definitely want to try my new arrows and my 150 grain trifecta broadheads on it.
Total devastation.
Total devastation.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's as far as summer scouting now, what is your focus moving forward? My focus is getting up there to extreme archery and shooting my bow more. And I think for the most part that I have quite a few spots that I'm fairly confident in seeing deer at.
Yeah.
And buck based on the sign that I found.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one thing that I think that if you're listening to this, that you always have to concentrate on are the things that we talked about in previous podcasts is for summer scouting is where are they eating, where are they drinking,
Right.
where are they bedding,
Yep.
and where are the travel routes in between that.
So I have a benefit that you don't. I hunt off the ground. So in season, I could do a lot of scout hunting. Okay. I'm more mobile. Where you're fixed to a tree. So you have to do a lot of more pre-scouting to set yourself up. Where if it ain't happening, I can kind of move along slowly. But
That helps.
right now, my focus is shooting. Shooting. I know we beat this in. It's archery hunting. This is the most important aspect of the sport. It's having that confidence. It's having that muscle memory and knowing that your shot placement's going to be, perfect every time.
Good. Now, as far as shot placement, you talk about this. The one thing that was taught for forever is, right behind the shoulder, double lung is what you want. And there's a lot of talk out there. It's been years. It's not something brand new.
No.
About shooting at what they call the vital V.
The Vital V.
Right. And that is the vital V is the area literally, if you're looking at the legs and you have a deer that's basically broadside to you, right? And you look at the front legs and you go just above where the body meets the leg, just above there is where the heart is, right? And the lungs in there, right? So if you shoot in that area in that vital V, you're going to put the deer down. But if you're off, it's only probably a 6-inch.
Then you're in no man's land.
If you're off to the right, you might still be good a little bit because you're still in lungs areas.
This or that.
But if you hit higher, you're going to hit that shoulder bone, and you better have a good arrow. You better have a good broadhead to go through that because you might lose the deer if you don't have that.
You hit the heart, the body dies. But if you don't hit the heart, I don't have an analogy for that, but it's not good.
Yeah. So that's one thing to look at. A good Google search and see what that vital V is.
Yeah.
And just show you where this area is that a lot of people say is the place. And one of the things about aiming and shooting for the vital V is that even if a deer does that little duck when that arrow is flying, he hears that arrow coming at him, they do that drop. You still, if you had aimed at the bottom part of it, that deer's going to drop right into the spot.
And you're just going to take the top artery right off that heart.
You're going to nail them. So I think that's something to think about here as you're doing if you're not dialed into a 3-inch area with your arrows, work on getting in a 3-inch area.
Yeah, I mean, again, every shot, every situation's different.
Obviously.
And
there's so many different things that happen out there.
I was just getting ready to say the exact same thing. So, even in 20 yards, there's so much that can happen from the time you release to the point of impact. That it's almost an eternity till it gets. It's not a bullet, Well,
the thing that really gets people is any of us, and we've experienced this, is sometimes when you think you have like a perfect broadside shot, it's not.
It's not.
And you didn't see it. I mean, when you're, especially when you're in a tree stand,
and
it's
it could
hard
be
to
at dusk and shadows or this or that. It's
and that deer takes a step right when you shoot,
right there.
whatever. I've heard a lot of people talk smack online about the fact they never miss and they always go there. And I'd like, okay,
everybody has the biggest unit in the room. You know what I mean when it comes to this. And I don't know why there's that much chest beating about that stuff. Yeah. Like, let's be real. Let's be honest with each other. Like, we all experience it. Nobody is the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Everybody's human here, and things happen.
If you've never had a deer that you have not recovered because of something happening, then you're probably hunting on a farm where the deer are standing there waiting on you to shoot them.
Yeah. I mean, well, in a lot of other states, Mike, so these people that are saying these things very well could be hunting in states that allow feeding
over
feeders,
bait piles,
hunting over bait, where that deer is so fixated on what they're eating
that they never move.
Yeah. And we kind of experienced that in Texas.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
it's not like that here in Pennsylvania.
So, we'll say it again. If you haven't listened to the podcast before, we hunt in a low deer density area.
Very low density.
Very low density. We will go numerous hunts without seeing a deer.
Yeah.
I mean, numerous. Sometimes there's been seasons that people that hunt with us have not seen a deer the whole season.
We call it getting
not even
skunked.
a doe.
Yeah.
Not even a doe.
Yeah.
And that's how tough it can be. So you really have to do your homework where we're at. That's why we concentrate on scent control, because I go back to the scent control
opportunities
thing.
are so limited you can't.
We can do the wind all we want.
Yeah, but it swirls up there too.
It swirls so much, so you have to use other scent control measures. If you don't, I tried it the one year where that first year I was hunting the wind. I just hunted the wind and I didn't do anything else for scent control.
Yeah,
and I had probably the worst year as far as seeing deer.
Yeah.
And when you put that out there, and could it be an anomaly? It could be, but I would say, generally speaking, the very next year I went back to do my scent control measures and hunting the wind together, and I saw the most amount of deer that I'd seen.
Like it wouldn't be a challenge if we're so used to this, and for us, we love the challenge. We had high density deer situation on the family farm, where you were pretty much virtually guaranteed a deer.
Yeah.
And I will take this. The reward in this scenario, the reward is so much greater. The effort and the work that you put in, the reward is miles above what it was getting a deer at the farm.
Yeah. And the one thing I have to stress is we talked about the fieldcraft stuff, right? If you immerse yourself into the scouting process and understanding that you're out there playing a chess game with the deer, and you're getting into that, okay, I know where the bedroom is, I know where the stuff are, I think I know. When you put yourself out there and you really, really play that chess game with the deer, when you do even get to see it and say, oh, I thought this was going to be a big buck here, it was a smaller buck. But you did your homework and you won and you played that chess game, and you might not have killed a buck because of it, but you found that that your scouting bore out, and you've put that stuff together, and now it's time to go back and say, okay, I learned this from that, and I can go out and do it again and replicate this somewhere else that I can get a bigger deer.
There's always small wins and accomplishments that you should feel good about and be proud of. Hunting is not harvesting. It's hunting. It's hunting. And you're not always going to be successful. And just know, like guys like us, we're not chest beating.
No.
We got your back.
No.
We're in the same boat, man.
I want you to hunt and enjoy it, not feel the pressure of saying, oh, I didn't get this kind of deer, so I'm a loser, or any stupid stuff like that. That's ridiculous. It's about what makes you happy hunting, and don't have anything to prove to anybody except for yourself.
Right. I know. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly. I mean, it's already a small enough community. We should all have each other's back.
I want more hunters, not less. Yeah. So a great example of that, I almost forgot this. So my son Trevor, it was on the last podcast. Right. If you didn't see the last podcast where he talks about food sources, go back, watch it. It's a great episode. He did an incredible job going over stuff. He just graduated from Penn State.
I want to do it more
with a degree in wildlife and fisheries, and he has worked with some people that really know deer.
Yeah.
But anyway, Trevor had gotten his hunting license and his archery stamp here in Pennsylvania, and because he hasn't had any time behind a compound bow, his shoulder's bad. Trevor has issues with his right shoulder. I'm having him shoot my 10-point crossbow.
Yeah, nice. Got to start somewhere,
right? To get him out in the woods, right? To
just get him in the woods.
And this is what I say to you: don't worry about that crap. You know, this the chest beating stuff. You have to have a compound bow. You have to have this kind of. You have to have a Matthews. You have to have this and that. You know what?
I have both. It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I had a shoulder issues for years, and I used a crossbow. I still am getting out there. It didn't change how I hunted at all. I'm not all of a sudden sitting on a farmer's field shooting 100 yards with a crossbow. That's right. Still hunt the same way. I killed deer with it, and I didn't have a shot over 30 yards. So
yeah.
It's the same. It's the same thing. But anyway, I digress. I'm anxious to get Trevor out there.
Yeah.
Getting him hunting, get him started with it.
You know what it is?
And we're going to start building him into a compound bow and getting him comfortable with it. And by the time next year rolls around, he might be ready to go.
You know what it is? Good quality father-son time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, that's a lot of good stuff here, Dan.
Yeah.
Hey, we appreciate you listening. That's been a great episode. We look forward to we're actually going to go ahead and make sure we get these out here again in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So look forward to the next episode coming out soon. But hit that like button, subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please, follow. We'd love to have you listen to more stuff. We got a lot more stuff coming. Go to the YouTube channel for the Everday Bow Hunter and see a bunch of the video content I've been putting out. A bunch of the stuff I talked about here, as far as clothing, as far as hunting, we have there. And eventually here, we're going to have the food sources video done. But as we talked about in the beginning here, we need to do some cleaning up, and then we'll put that video out. So once again, I'm Mike. This is Dan, the Everyday Bow Hunter podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, everybody.